This is Eric Muadhi with Muadhi.com. After the close, October 31st. What a month we had. Now let's go straight to the chart. This is a quad Qs weekly chart, and what we see here is, like I said, history will have it that we will always have this double bottom. Double bottoms don't get violated as frequently in the market, and so it's right there. It's in the books. We can change it. It is what it is. So that double bottom stays in the market, and now I'd been talking about the last couple of weeks. I've been talking about the first MACD crossover, and usually doesn't give you a good buy point. So we had a great crossover on a second attempt on the daily, which is usually a great entry point, and the weekly chart also has to go through its own failed crossover. So the weekly chart also has that opportunity, to now we might have an opportunity. Now this doesn't have to happen as much as in the daily, but usually it's a good indication either for this black line either to dip lower a little bit and then on a later day come and cross over and move to new highs, or it can go flat and then for a week or so and then move high, and that gives a longer term a directional indication. And you can you have these charts on the blog or to your right, and what you see is that like in this particular instance here in the beginning of this year, we have this first attempt to crossover which fails, and then it's through the second attempt that you get a better signal to hold stocks to the long side. So this still remains to be seen how this is going to play out, but usually they do dip down before now they cross over again. Now if you go back and check this crossover here sometime in early February of this year, and one here March of 2007, you find that those were good entry points. Now February, around February here, let me get that straight. Now if we use that new highs here around March, will coincide to an entry point around somewhere here. If you use this entry point here, which is I gotta look at the mid-March somewhere here, you get an entry point somewhere around here. So they do give nice entry points. And let's go back and look at the daily on the Qs. Okay, so the Qs give a nice MACD entry point here. Good. And we had a wedge out of oversold conditions. That's good on the long side. And we might be running into some kind of resistance here. This is an arbitrary line. It doesn't exist. I just drew it there to give us a visual of what to expect, because this downward slope was very thin, and I thought, let's just double that sentiment and add one next there. And usually that tends to be give us a rough estimate of where markets might stall. Now remember, we are really oversold. I mean, even the 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average are all pointing lower. So this market is, it got out of trouble. It was about to die, but it's revived itself. So on the long side, that's good. Now let's look at the Q's 60-minute chart, and we see, just like we had this consolidation on the RSI on the support line here, this consolidation took a couple of days. Even though this is an hourly chart, it took so many days to consolidate here. This was trending higher on the slope right there, and this was generally trending lower, and it's that divergence that eventually gave rise to this move here. Right now we are consolidating also, but pressure to the downside here, while markets, this is going up and strength is going down. More than likely the next immediate direction in this market might be to press to move the RSI to test this line here. That's what I think. But there's always a likelihood that the market gets very strong and violates that to the upside. That remains to be seen. But right now, if we just go by the what the market is telling us from the generic view, is we have a situation where strength is going down, prices are going up short term. So usually this does resolve itself in the direction of strength, which is probably head lower in the short term. But longer term, weeks into the future, this market does look strong, as I've been mentioning all week. Okay, now let's look at the 30-minute chart for the Qs again. Again, you see generally we can just we can see this trend, good trend up, but we see now lately strength is coming down. So and we also see that there was some kind of breach of this directional move that started around here. This move here has been violated in the last hour. So that does tell me that the market is starting to lose some of its recent strength, and going into Monday we'll see how that develops.